I can't think of a scenario where I've been sort of looking at rockets that are outgoing and a colleague, a dear colleague, you, are being underneath it, and it's a bad, eerie feeling. And when I see the rockets coming out of there, I want to be picking up the phone and saying, guys, they're coming, they're coming. But I know the defense system here is so strong that as I'm seeing them come up, you're getting the sirens immediately. I mean, you're getting those intercepts right over your head there. We're actually, from where we are, we can actually see the rockets, Iron Dome rockets themselves, taking off and making those intercepts. And we've been looking, I know you're trying to figure out and if you can get to underneath the cloud of smoke, but John's pointing at that cloud of smoke now. We've been watching it get bigger. It was small, dark cloud of smoke. Now it's like big and billowing, and the smoke's gone kind of gray, but something's on fire there because it hasn't gone out. It's putting out more smoke. But yeah, when I see those rockets going out there and the intercepts above your head, I'm just thinking about you and your team, Brent and Clayton. And I'm hearing small arms fire behind me there. That's the Israeli Defense Force, I believe, will be firing towards Gaza. I don't know if they've seen anything. Small arms fire, guns, heavy machine guns, small machine guns.
Yeah,
Kate,
Nick,
back to you.
Absolutely, Nick. No, we can hear that small arms fire. We heard it right over your shoulder. Have you been hearing that since the rockets, since this barrage kind of started up, basically right at 10 a.m. Eastern?
Yeah, not really. I mean, we don't get much small arms fire, but that, we had it in this town, Sderot, 2 days ago. We had it, and we knew that the IDF was going after some Hamas militants in the town. Because that's coming from towards Gaza, does that mean some Hamas militants have been spotted maybe at the border fence, trying to get through the border fence? Have they popped out a tunnel? We're seeing intercepts. Clarissa, I believe that there is missiles coming your way because I'm seeing intercepts above your head. So take cover. They're going up. They're intercepting right there.
Okay. Yeah. You can see right here. There you see them. Right above us. That's the Iron Dome intercepting. Just sort of crouching here on the balcony, but you can see that Clayton, just keep a little bit inside. Yeah. So this is just the sirens went off a matter of seconds ago. And now we're hearing as those rockets, it looks like most of them were intercepted by the Iron Dome. Up there you can see the plumes of smoke from where they were literally stopped in their tracks. It seems that maybe it's a little bit quieter right now. Not clear. Oh, there's another one. Hold on. You can hear a jet overhead now as well. It's not uncommon in these situations. You'll hear the intercepts, you'll hear the Iron Dome at work, and then pretty quickly after that, you'll hear jets, and then the distant thud of a strike in Gaza. Still hearing those rockets being intercepted. And just gives you a feel for the volume of rockets that are being used. I think many people initially had been surprised by how many rockets, how extensive the stockpiling. Oh, I can hear another. Sorry. How extensive the stockpiling and how effective it's been in terms of the sheer amount of rockets, and some of them longer range rockets and missiles as well. So now appears to be a little bit quieter. We can still see those plumes of smoke from where the Iron Dome was activated. We can still see a plume of darker smoke lower on the horizon from where one of those rockets appears to have made impact earlier on. But clearly Hamas trying to send a very sobering message to the people of Ashkelon today. They warned people. They told them leave by 5 p.m. And it has been pretty unrelenting in the I forget how long we've been out here now, but what are we talking? 35 minutes of pretty sustained, I would say, barrages of rockets coming into this seaport city.
Actually remarkable, Clarissa. It's John Berman here. We're seeing in real time the Iron Dome intercept those rockets over your head. And if we can just show people this map very quickly so we can remind people where Clarissa is. She is in Ashkelon, right here. Our Nick Robertson, and this is really also remarkable. Nick Robertson was here in Sderot looking over Gaza as the rockets were being shot out into Ashkelon, where Clarissa is. Clarissa, we heard explosions and blasts there. Was that from the sky? Can you distinguish between intercepts or whether there was any impact on the ground from that last barrage?
Yeah, you can usually distinguish as a slightly different sound when they're intercepted in the sky as opposed to when they make a direct hit. I will say the first barrage right at 5 o'clock was the most sustained, the most intensive, and the most amount of direct hits from what we heard. We don't know where those hits may have happened, with the exception of that one location where it appears that one of those rockets hit. Again, we don't know exactly what was there, but we've been going out every day now and seeing the impact and effect that some of these rockets have. They destroy cars, they destroy homes, they leave craters in the streets, and of course they have a very palpable effect on the psyche of ordinary people. I think I hear a drone now. Again, drones very common at the moment for obvious reasons. We heard some jets before as well. We had been hearing pretty much constant jet activity yesterday, but more so even the day before. And it is this utterly discombobulating sense for people who live here between, on the one hand, sirens going off and people are frantically running to try to get to shelters and crouching, and then you hear explosions in the sky. And then 5 minutes later, everything feels quiet again. You can hear the sea. It's hard to imagine how people can live like this day in and day out. It's extremely difficult to kind of find any sense of equilibrium. And we have definitely noticed that the tempo in Ashkelon today, this afternoon, has dramatically escalated, John.
Clarissa, thank you. Stand by for a second. Let's go back to Nick Robertson in Sderot. Nick, you were hearing firing. Describe what you were hearing and what you think it might have been.
We were hearing what sounded like small arms fire, machine gun fire. And that typically, the Israeli Defense Forces won't fire their machine guns unless they're close to a target. And then we could hear what sounded like exchanges of fire, sustained bursts of fire coming from that direction towards the border fence there. As Sarah was saying, it's literally 2,700 meters, I think, is what you said, Sarah, the distance between where we're at and the border fence. And if Hamas is still trying to make incursions, we were down in that area today. We were probably about 700 meters from the border fence earlier today. And there are a lot of Israeli troops down in that area. Combat troops in jeeps, in tanks, in armored vehicles. They're ready for the potential of more Hamas militants trying to slip inside Israel. So it's possible that that's what's we've just heard there. But the fact that the gunfire has subsided tells me that whatever that contact, to use the military parlance, was, the contact is broken at the moment. They're not engaged in a firefight. So that is over unless we hear it start up again. But what we did hear during when Clarissa was under that bombardment again, just in the past few minutes, we did hear a lot of artillery fire being fired from the Israeli forces into Gaza. That's very accurate artillery that they use to try to target the firing points, to try to get the Hamas militants who are firing the rockets. And further south in Gaza, I did hear a series of even bigger explosions, and those may have been associated with that fighter jet. I'm hearing another sound, explosion, detonation, ripple through the air. That may have been associated with the fighter jets that both Clarissa and I heard flying in over Gaza just in the past few minutes.